Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing some tree clearing on the south side of our shop. In order to do that, we need to make a ramp up to the area where we're working. That way we can grab trees and brush piles with the backhoe. So first we need to cut that ramp in. So this hill is where we've been taking all of the rock and dirt that we're using to level out our yard. So it's roughly a 6 to 8 foot bank, and we just need to make a temporary ramp to get up to the top. So here you'll see me stripping the topsoil off the hillside the best I can. Topsoil up here on the mountain is very rare and I won't get much more of it. So I try to save every little bit I can because we have to re-topsoil this hill once we're done grading it. So I have to admit, I didn't think having the extend-a-hoe option for the backhoe arm was going to be that big a deal, but having the ability to extend out another 3 or 4 feet really helps improve the amount of work you can do without repositioning with the backhoe. So now that the temporary road is done, it's time to do some tree clearing.
What are you starting with, the brush cutter or the saw?
Brush cutter.
Okay.
I'm going to go through here and just kind of work my way up into the woods as fast or as far as I can.
Okay, sounds good.
So we're just going to be using the steel brush cutter just to clear up all this underbrush so that we have a little bit more room to work, and that will allow us to better and more safely drop some of these trees that we'll start on in just a little bit. I have to say it's great working with Emily on this project. She can clear up and stack all that brush almost faster than I can cut it, so it's always fun working with her on projects. I have to say, working on this flat ground up here doing this tree clearing is so much nicer than the steep hill that we've been working on before this. And it's so nice to be able to go in with the backhoe and pick up these piles that you don't have to work at dragging them up or down the hill to get to the pile. So it's going much faster. So we are doing these first few trees by the outhouse here so that we can carry larger stuff down the hill. Right now they're blocking my path to the backhoe and it's really tight with the ramp. So these trees have to go first. So you may wonder why I'm using wedges on most of these trees. I'm trying to leave a big hinge because these trees are pretty close to the shop and the outhouse, and I want to be able to control them a little bit more than if I had just notched them and let them fall. It's also slightly breezy out, so I wanted to control them a little bit more than usual, I guess. This is going to be the biggest tree we're taking down today, and it is tall enough that it would probably land almost on the center of the roof of the shop if it fell that way. So I'm taking some extra precaution to make sure it lands where I want it to. So I probably should have been looking up a little bit more than I was when I was cutting down that tree, because it was starting to go well before I thought it was. And yeah, I would have normally just left the wedges and backed up even further if I had seen that it was going down, but this is one of my first trees I was really working on the property, so I was learning as I went. So I'm really glad I welded the teeth on the bucket of the backhoe. I didn't know they were going to be this useful. They're really great for rooting around, clearing brush, raking up stuff. They can grab logs a lot easier than a flat bucket would. And it's also useful for in situations like this where I need to fish the forks out from behind that pile. Another feature of the backhoe that I really appreciate having is the quick coupler on the front. That way I can easily switch between the bucket and the forks. And hopefully in the future I'll make some more attachments to make this backhoe even more useful for us, but right now forks and bucket work pretty good for us. If you're ever using quick coupler, always test it to make sure it's locked in place by pushing your attachment onto the ground. You never want to drop an attachment unexpectedly, especially if you're working around other people. So I have an intermittent problem with the backhoe where it stalls out on me when I release the throttle in some situations, especially when it's cold. I think it's mainly because I have a throttle linkage from the foot pedal not set properly. Eventually I'll get to it, but I've learned kind of how to work around that problem. So we're sorting our logs into two different piles basically. The shorter stuff is going to be either fence posts or firewood. And the longer stuff will mill up into lumber if it works, otherwise we'll just cut it up shorter and make it into more fence posts or anything like that. So, trying to use as many of the trees as we can and not burn anything large enough to be useful. So now it's time to pull out all the stumps from the trees we cut down today. I do like pulling stumps with this backhoe. The machine weighs 23,000 pounds, give or take. And because it's nice and heavy, it makes pulling on these stumps and getting them out much easier than it would be if you had a Mini with the same size boom as the backhoe. So I thought the root system on this tree was pretty impressive. I've never actually had a tree pull all of the topsoil around it up like that. It's kind of fun to watch. If you've made it to this point in the video, I want to thank you so much for watching. If you like this content and you want to see more of it, the best way to ensure that that happens is just hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss our upcoming videos. If you want to support Emily and I, the best way to do that is just to hit that like button. It really helps out. It tells YouTube this content is worth sharing to other people. If you want to support us in a more direct way, the best way to do that is through our YouTube channel memberships. If you have any questions or comments about what we were doing here in this video, I encourage you to leave a comment down below, and we will do our best to respond. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.